And welcome back to We Bombastic Few, Season 3, Episode 1. Woo! Cheers, crowds. Amazing. We're back. You thought it wouldn't happen. We thought it wouldn't happen. This is the standard now, though. We just like to bless you guys with our voices. And with me, I have two other voices. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Lindsay, you go.
Hi, I'm Lindsay. I'm not dead. Back by popular demand.
you voted. It was Ryan Seacrest or Lindsay, and unfortunately, I don't know how or why, but Ryan Seacrest got voted off.
Personally, I like Lindsay's here. I don't know. Ryan Seacrest got that like a weird like Ryan Seacrest vibe. You know what I'm saying? It's not Lindsay. If it's not Lindsay, you know they can't be here. So I guess we should leave. Lindsay, this is your show now.
That was season. Yeah. We're back to Me Bombastic 1. That's a throwback for you long-time listeners.
I thought that was mine. I thought you guys had to come up with your own new series. That's my title. That's copyrighted, trademarked, official.
No, it's not.
Official Diabetes Dan property.
Interesting.
I don't believe it.
I don't
but
recall
that counts as your introduction. You've wasted your time. So, I was looking through ketchup jokes, as one does. Why are tomatoes the slowest vegetable?
To get to the other side.
Because they can't catch up. And this is what doesn't make sense to me, right? Why can tomatoes not catch up? Like, if anything, are tomatoes not the only vegetable that could catch up?
I don't know. What defines a ketchup? Like, when you look up ketchup in the dictionary, what is the definition?
Let's find out.
Yeah, let's ketchup.
Well, they're looking that up.
Definition.
Another ketchup joke is, guess what you have to do every time you come back from a few-month hiatus from a podcast?
All right, I have a definition.
Mustard.
No, you must catch up.
Oh, that was so obvious in hindsight. I don't know how I didn't see it.
Okay,
ketchup is.
Go ahead.
I'm saying it.
Okay,
it's
yeah,
my joke.
Sure, why not? I'll just be quiet the rest of the time. I'm not allowed to say anything anymore.
Perfect. A smooth sauce made chiefly from tomatoes and vinegar used as a condiment. So ketchup tomatoes cannot technically ketchup on their own. But anyway, the real reason I brought up ketchup is I want to know who invented ketchup packets. No one in the history of ever has taken a ketchup packet and thought to themselves, this is how much ketchup I want. And like in terms of being a container for a substance, like a liquid substance in a bag that you have to tear only the corner off and then you got to squeeze it and then you get it all over your head. Ketchup packets are the worst invention to date.
So
I mean, I'm sure
I wasn't with you, and then I was with you when you talked about how much is in them, and then you lost me again when you said like they're the worst. I don't feel like ketchup packets are like that like unwieldy.
So let's make this argument. Let's rephrase that to ketchup packets aren't with the times, because with like what's the term, like the amount you eat, why can't I think of the term?
portion size.
With portion size and have grown the past few decades by a substantial margin.
No. I don't accept at any point that was enough ketchup for anyone. That was never enough ketchup for
Maybe
anyone.
for the small amount of fries that they got before, yeah.
Well, hold on. What was ketchup originally like made for? Like we use it usually on like hot dogs and fries, but like when they made ketchup, what were they making it for? Like meatloaf?
Dinosaur meat.
Wait, okay, on
That's
that
what
note,
I would guess.
Come back next
definitely
week
not
for
enough
ketchup
meatloaf.
history.
Wait,
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Before we like immediately go off topics, I feel like that's where it's going. I have a different definition for ketchup than Brent has.
Oh.
It says
Intriguing.
a condiment consisting of a thick, smooth-textured, spicy sauce, usually made from tomatoes, and it leaves it kind of like up to interpretation. Like usually from tomatoes means it's not always from tomatoes. But what else can you make a ketchup from? Like it just has to be a thick, smooth-textured, spicy sauce, and
So
a
is
condiment.
mustard a ketchup?
Is mustard a ketchup? Leave your responses down below. Let us know on our social media accounts. Lindsay, you want to plug those?
Yes. The social media accounts are still up to date. Yeah.
I mean, what was it? Instagram we got banned from?
Oh wait, that's right. I forgot about that.
I forgot the details about that, but yeah, we got somewhat banned because
Somewhat.
they thought that we were buying followers or something like that. So we got
Which
banned.
we would never do. That's
But,
ridiculous.
But like, I just re-entered the password to the password that was actually correct, and it was like, oh no, you're good. Like, so I guess just like entering the wrong password makes it think that you are buying followers for some reason. I don't know what. It was
Which,
strange.
once again, we would never do. If they want to send any offers, we're willing to pay 15 cents a listen. You can contact us at Bombastic.
Wait,
I
15
don't
cents.
know.
Is that even what we make off ad revenue?
No.
Absolutely not.
That's
We
not
would
even
lose
close.
so much money.
But it's putting our names out there.
Yeah,
It's
we're
marketing.
not about. This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is a international fame scheme. That's why I'm here. I want to replace Ryan Seacrest. Really, we should have had Ryan Seacrest on this show. It was a big mistake not replacing him.
When's
or
the
replacing
Ryan
Lindsay with
Seacrest
him.
and Will Smith episode happening? We'll have them both on at the same time.
That I can't imagine they've ever. I guess there's a chance they've interacted. I don't know.
Ryan
Famous
Seacrest
people do
and Will
crazy things.
Smith, if you're out there and you want to be on We Bombastic Few podcast, email us at oh wait, what's the email? I think it's the Bombastic Podcast because that's what we were named until we got contacted by the Bombastic Podcast.
No. It wasn't. It wasn't by the Bombastic Podcast. It was just called Bombastic.
Bombastic.
It was just
And
called
then-
Bombastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, good. Off to a great start, and you can look forward to more fun with today's segments being superhero debate, but we got a twist on it this time, and we're calling it Superhero Royale. We got a hypothetical, because what is a podcast without a hypothetical, and a new segment called The Pitch. And of course, no podcast would be complete without a bombastic word. I should have looked how to pronounce this earlier. Gentacular. And that is an adjective meaning pertaining to breakfast. So I make this promise every time and I never follow through, and the pattern will continue. I'm going to use this word 3 times this episode.
I'm going to use it 3.5 times.
I was gonna say I'm gonna be lucky if I get 1.5 out.
And might I say, Lindsay, you're sounding awfully gentacular today.
Okay, that's not count.
That's my
Daniel,
half
would you
use.
take us to the next section before my gentacular meal is ready? I don't even know how.
I like mine better.
How in the world do you use this word pertaining to breakfast?
It's,
What?
Delicious. What was delicious?
The food we ate this morning was quite gentacular. Like, stating the obvious.
Ooh, my roommate overheard this podcast and he just sent me an email. Consider those little plastic packets of ketchup we use at fast food restaurants. They were invented in 1955 by Dale Ross and Yale Kaplan. More than 60 years later, the same design is still being used to dispense one of our more popular condiments. Plastics made these now ubiquitous condiments dispensers possible. There's like a link, but I don't read the entire thing. So shout out to Dustin for the fact check.
Also,
And,
shout out to Justin for listening to
Dustin.
everything we're saying at any given moment. And also, I'm
These walls are
now
so
dedicating
thin.
myself to bring up ketchup as much as possible this episode. So we're forced to give it a ketchup-themed title.
Yeah, that is a good point. All right. Dan,
Some
what
might
are we
say
doing now?
ketchup is gentacular.
What? I guess if you had hash
Ketchup
browns,
and eggs. Ketchup's good on eggs.
that sounds gross. Like, I know people do it, but I don't think I could convince.
Cough, point for me,
Just
cough.
try it. Just put it on a bite of eggs. Give it a try. It's pretty good.
Also, people use it with mac and cheese and cannot imagine how disgusting that tastes.
It's almost as bad as
I
mac
don't know.
and cheese ice cream.
I give everything the benefit of the doubt.
All right.
Like when it comes
First
to like
segment.
trying foods. Anyways, superhero debate with a twist. So normally when we do superhero debate, we go to randomlist.com/superpowers. We randomize 6 superpowers and we just read across, and basically every 2 powers go to a different hero, and we argue which of those 3 heroes are 1, best in combat, and 2, most useful in day-to-day life. Today, we're switching it up in that me, Brent, and Lindsay are each randomizing 2 superpowers, and we're going to try and determine whose superhero is best in the same categories by the same metrics.
And we're going to try and do a couple rounds of these just because a decent amount of powers in this are just like immortality and reality warping, where you just get to change reality at will. So there's a chance some of these will not go on very long, but we'll see. So none of us have hit randomize yet, and we're going to click it now. Bop. My guy, he's got acid generation, which is the ability to generate acid through touch or as a spray. And gravity manipulation, the ability to manipulate or generate gravitons or other types of gravitational interactions.
Wow, those powers both sound completely useless. Now let's go to my superhero. Superhuman durability / endurance, so basically higher resistance to any form of damage before being injured, as well as the ability to exert myself indefinitely and go longer times without eating or drinking water. And then reactive adaptation / evolution, which is the ability to develop resistance or immunity to whatever they were injured by or exposed to. So, very similar powers.
Yeah, mine is on the line of redundancy as also. Self-detonation or explosion and reformation described to be, or defined as, ability to explode one's body's mass and reform. And the second one is bone manipulation. Ability to manipulate the bones in one's own body. This includes, but is not limited to, the generation of new bone mass, projecting bones out of their skin, or rearranging one's own bones.
So if we were to put Lindsay as a Pokemon, he's like a combo of Voltorb and what's the little Pokemon that wears Cubone, is it?
Yeah.
So he's Cubone Voltorb combo.
Dude,
all right.
I'm thinking like, you know how like in fantasy, like the spiders are always like really fast at like spinning the webs and like trap you in that? I'm picturing like, actually no, I'm not gonna argue for Lindsay's superhero, but it is pretty broken in combat.
you were going on a good path. Let's hear it.
I don't know.
Someone else want to go? I need to look at my powers again.
Okay,
yeah.
So you want to argue fighting? Is that what the idea is, or do you want to do fighting and?
Well, so
both.
We'll start with fighting.
Okay.
Like Daniel's guy is there was the guy in X-Men First Class, Adapt to Survive, basically that plus endurance.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. So the Adapt to Survive, how quickly can you do that? Because so my guy can generate acid, right? If I slap you with an acid slap, are you like instantaneously immune to acid?
So I'll just read it out exactly what it says. Ability to develop a resistance or immunity to whatever they were injured by or exposed to. This effect can be permanent or temporary.
Why would you ever choose temporary?
I'm thinking permanent.
Because if you're submerged into water and you need gills instead of like just like standard like respiratory system, then like you don't want that to be permanent. You want it to be temporary. Like that's a good example of.
Well, but why can't he have two? Well, I don't know. Now we need to stop arguing for other people's people.
It's just too easy.
I think to take you out by acid, I would need to get you in one go.
Yeah.
Which I feel like wouldn't be super hard.
Because he doesn't have, like, as far as I'm aware, that doesn't include like a healing factor that you can like recover from something. It's just you build the resistance. Or
yeah, but he also has the durability.
Yeah, I'm also very like extra durable. So I have a high resistance to one or more forms of damage.
So I would be willing to say I can't take you down by acid, but gravity manipulation, depending on how powerful that is, or like what magnitude, can I just create a black hole and put you in a black hole?
I don't think you could create a black hole.
Well, why not?
I don't want to allow it.
At minimum, I could. Can I make reverse gravity and push you away from me and make like a force field?
But then would he just adapt
like
with wings? Sorry, I'm arguing for him.
I don't. No. You don't adapt for being pushed away by developing wings. That's not how it just. Like,
I don't know. I like
works.
the way Lindsay's talking about it. I think
No,
I should
'cause,
be
like,
able to develop wings.
I'm thinking like if he gets pushed out into space, like he's gonna like. I guess wings won't be.
I'm sorry. What kind of animals do you know with wings that work in space?
I'm saying if he starts going further out of the atmosphere or closer to like the atmosphere, like his body's gonna want to go back. So it's like he would adapt to that.
Dude, what if there was like a creature with like wings and it could flap by pushing against like radiation?
Well, I was just gonna like a solar sail is a thing. It's very, you need a very large surface area.
Mm-hmm.
But like, for like bugs are tiny. So if you just had, light, and so like if you just had a really light bug with a really large wing, like the ratio of weight to like size of wing, but there's no like food in space, and no one can hear you scream, so
I think we're off track.
no alien fans. Okay, all right. Lindsay, give your guy some love. Why is he gonna win?
All right, so I'm thinking like, almost like a human porcupine. But
a gross human porcupine, but continue.
oh yeah, that. But like also with a little extra oomph because I can literally explode myself and then, and there'll be no repercussions. But I also have reformation, so like no matter what you're gonna
Can
do
you
to
do
me,
that if you were not the person who exploded you?
it just says, self detonation or explosion and reformation. So like they don't say anything that like it makes it exclusive.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say what I was thinking, just cause like, so Lindsay's superhero could, because he can make his bones like just expand and just create more and more bones, even protruding from his skin. So he could just literally create a cage of bones around his opponent.
Well, yeah, but then
And then detonate.
increase gravity, and then like in his center of mass, and then it's like, oh crap, this is really heavy bones, and then I crush him with his own bones.
Well, like I don't have to be in that though.
Okay, but I put it around you wherever you are.
No, what kind of range do you have on this gravity manipulation?
Yeah.
Infinite range.
You're just gonna pull the moon down to crush him?
Yeah, I'll put a lasso around it.
Little Majora's
All right,
Mask action.
Let's put a cap on this the fight so we can move on to everyday life. You don't have to vote for your own person. Honestly, like I'd say Daniel's person, depending on how powerful my gravity is. I'm gonna, just for the sake of not making him too powerful, I think if like you were to scale all these abilities, I think I'd vote Daniel's guy.
Yeah, with your keyword of scale them, I think that like it takes me and Daniel from being a potential like standstill to like with scaling them. I definitely think Daniel's would probably win too.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's my. It does. I don't have anything about like superhuman strength. Like I assume I'm like a above average like strong person, but I don't know. I'm thinking Lindsay's.
Ooh.
All right. And then I wouldn't mind going through one more. So, quick thing for everyday life. Acid and gravity, both things that you could use in everyday life fairly frequently. I mean, I can't tell you the amount of times I'm sitting in classes like, man, I wish I had acid spit.
Or how many times are you in traffic, you're just like, man, I wish all these cars would just corrode away.
Exactly. I don't know why you wouldn't choose gravity at that point to like physically move them, but big fan of melting.
You could just move yourself above and then just like kind of coast.
It's a power move. You could move yourself, but it's much more impressive and intimidating to move others.
I personally don't think
go like a scale, like you lift two people at a time, and as you pass one person, you set them down and lift the next person. You're just like driving through traffic. You don't even have to switch lanes or anything.
I don't think mine would be that useful in everyday life. Like aside from like healing myself, if like I break a bone or something like that, like it doesn't like bone manipulation is not going to give me extra strength. So like
The only thing I could think of is you could make your own tools pretty easily. It's like, man, I
That's
wish someone
true.
had brought a shovel. And it's like, oh, Steve can break off his femur and use that as a
that's
shovel.
true. And like I could work in detonation, like some kind of like explosives like position too.
So you'd be really good at like a construction job or like
Yeah.
a demolition job.
So my superhero would revolutionize marathon running.
Well, yeah, just superhuman endurance just lets you just do better at everything in life. So there's that.
But hear me out on the gravity thing. You know when like you're at the end of a pen's like ink cycle, but there's like that last little bit left.
Oh,
You
yeah,
just
yep.
increase gravity in your pen, and the ink just comes out.
Interesting.
Yep, and it doesn't explode and it doesn't cause any problems.
Yeah.
It's not like you're using a literal godlike power on a pen. It's perfect. Okay, I vote my guy for everyday life.
I would. I guess I'll agree. I think it's pretty.
I was gonna say
close.
bone shovel. What?
I think it's pretty
What are you
close.
thinking?
Well, like you said, construction. That is super helpful. Like I could just sell bone shovels.
I mean,
and-
acid would be useful in construction too.
well, yeah, but all around, I could explode instead of using a few drops of acid at a time.
Yeah, you
Oh
just
my
like expand your bones like into like anything you need to excavate, and then you just blow it up, and the dirt just gets sent sky high.
And it falls on top of you. It's great. All right, Daniel, who are you voting?
I think I'm gonna vote mine just because everyday life changes because of my powers. I'm just like a dope athlete, you know, and no one can stop me.
I mean, yeah, you're just frankly just the best athlete. I don't know. That just seems kind of lame to me. But do you guys think we have time for one more? If we go quicker.
All right, go one superpower.
Oh, one superpower. All right.
All right, everyone ready?
Yep. Oh gosh. Okay. Well. Okay, I'm doing mine again because. Okay, I'm doing mine again because we've already done. All right. This one we haven't done before.
This is bad.
All right, all right. I've got. I'll go first. I've got
All
heat
right.
vision, so pretty straightforward. I could burn objects and other individuals with my sight.
How ironic, because I've got photography, the ability to burn images from one's mind into surfaces, such as
That's-
photographic film by psychic means.
So like I'm more of a combatant, and you're more of an artist.
Well, that's hilarious because I'm invisible.
Oh, so can
I
I,
can-
can
I
I
can turn
burn you if I
invisible.
can't see you?
Exactly. And can you burn your thoughts onto psychic paper if you can't see the paper?
So
So-
mine loses in a fight.
I don't know, 'cause you can
Well,
still burn images onto other people. So you're almost like, you know how like serial killers like almost give themselves a little shtick. They kind of want to have like a thing, or they almost want to get caught, so they have like, you know, whatever thing they do. So people are like, oh yeah, it's this killer.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how I pictured like Lindsay. Like I'm not saying Lindsay's hero would be a serial killer, but like Lindsay just like burning images onto people.
Yeah.
Like
He burns on like different Avatar: The Last Airbender like you are the water symbol, and he forces people into Avatar: The Last Airbender kingdoms. He's like,
Here.
you are part of the air. No
Alpha Chi Pi. Now people think you were a frat boy. No.
A fate worse than death. I don't know, but like invisibility is like theoretically you'll never be able to find me, and so I just need to, but I can't really attack you very easily. It doesn't say, it doesn't say whether I can turn other things invisible either.
So, do you think heat vision? Am I still vulnerable to heat?
The first time you use it, you just burn through your
How does
eyes.
this work? I just like sear through my arm.
I'm imagining Superman, or I guess Cyclops would be a better comparison for his thing. So can you, because like he cannot stop it unless his eyes are closed. Well, I guess you just get fancy glasses.
Yeah. So, it helps in everyday life because now I look cool.
Yeah. All right. I think Daniel's guy wins in a fight again because it's very much an offensive ability.
Yeah.
It really like, if nothing else, like let's say I'm in a fight with an invisible person, I just have to like set the entire surroundings on fire, and then
Yeah,
just
but
start
I'm lying on the ground.
Okay, I'll make the dirt hot.
But I jumped just as you did that.
And but all the air's hot because of the fire.
But I ducked as soon as you did that.
Dive, duck, dodge.
Wow. The 5 Ds of fighting heat vision.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a laser vision.
That's a title right there.
No, but it doesn't have ketchup. And
if you could dodge a ketchup, you could dodge a laser vision.
perfect.
Nailed it.
Yep. Everyday life. Okay, hold on. So in everyday life, mine would be super useful for genticulating food.
That's not how you use it, but good job.
I don't know how you
You just use it as a verb.
I imagine obtaining breakfast can be meant as genticulating.
I don't know. I think my abilities probably has more gentacular purposes, in that I could cook my bacon and eggs faster.
I don't know.
Yeah, but
I think my
but what happens when I
ability-
steal your bacon? and
Mine
eggs?
could be pretty gentacular also.
Oh,
Simply
ow.
Dude,
because
that's true. Because he can make his pancakes any shape he wants.
yeah.
Make 'em- no, he can put an image on the pancake.
Yes,
he
I
can't
can-
shape the pancake.
I
and yeah,
instantly become
everyday life-
famous for being a pancake chef and just cooking people pancakes with their faces on them.
Dude, he'll start his own pancake industry. He'll become a titan of pancakes.
Yeah, I will have
International
a
House
monopoly.
of Lindsay.
International
I-hole.
House
Get
of
your, get
Don't
yourself
Try.
down to eye hall.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right, fine. I'm going to eye hall, so
Yeah.
I'll put my vote for Lindsay.
Come see yourself to
Wait.
the eye hole.
all right. We gotta vote for one more thing though. Which one's the most gentacular?
Well,
I mean, you start a breakfast
yeah.
empire. It has to be you.
I'm glad I can hear it.
The only
I
thing
just
can
wanted
do
to
is
hear
steal
it.
breakfast.
Yeah.
So
Well-
I think that squares it away.
Yeah, when that happens, that Daniel's superheroes completely destroy me and Brent. But with that, they left us with quite the quote. Life is this crazy mystical thing, and sometimes you just go out like a buster. By Mang Zero.
I think it's pronounced mango.
It is
But-
pronounced mango.
Ha!
Huh.
I'm a genius. Relating to fruits. Hypothetical.
Which
I want a
fruits
hypothetical. I
Fruit
want a
genius.
can be
hypothetical.
considered gentacular?
Fruit Genius, new hit mobile game.
All right, time for hypothetical. The moment that everyone has waited for. The 5-month hiatus has led to this moment. Well,
Because what is a podcast without an X-month hiatus?
yeah, sure. All right, so back in 1907, LeBron James.
Hold on.
Wait. I think
Is
you want to start that one over?
No,
Is
I
it
did
LeBron
not.
James like
Okay,
senior
you stick with
or
the story.
something?
No, LeBron James. You know how he can jump so high? He can jump through years. Okay, that resolves that.
Makes
So he
sense.
goes back in time,
that explains that away.
and he goes into.
Is that the plot of Space Jam 2? I haven't seen it yet.
I did watch it, and that is the plot to Space Jam.
Yeah, he jumped to 1907, was it? And there he
You
made.
don't know? You're telling us.
There he made the game-winning shot of some soccer team, and that changed life as we know it today. And that was that instead of the amount of years we live, we instead have a cap of how many miles we travel.
Yeah, because of butterfly effect.
Yes,
Yeah,
obviously.
there's a you break the sound barrier, sound boom. You break the time barrier, time boom. I know this from The Flash.
So I have a question about this instantly, just to clarify. If you are, say, like, in space, are you technically traveling, like, miles because you're orbiting Earth?
I considered that. I think for the sake of not killing us very quickly, we're gonna say that orbiting like the sun for whatever reason and like rotating on Earth and such for whatever reason, that's like they thought of not Michael Jordan. LeBron. I was an idiot. Yeah, Michael Jordan. LeBron James thought of that when he made that game-winning soccer shot. So
You did this on purpose? LeBron!
Yeah.
Yeah,
He calculated that in.
yeah, just because he shot it with his left foot instead of his right foot, so that changed the equation to not having to worry about orbiting.
Wait, are we sure that
Basically,
LeBron James right-footed?
the fabric of space-time
important.
became the fabric of time-space.
Uh,
To help you picture
It created an inverse function in reality.
You know how it goes. Anyway, all right, so let's get down to some details. So right now, average lifespan is like, what, 76 or something, 80 in America?
12 or so, maybe more.
Sure,
let's just go with like 75.
Well, it was even number 80 years. So
Sure.
how many miles are we gonna give you now? Because you're no longer living 80 years. So
I don't know. It has to be something. I'm trying to think, like, how many miles do we travel normally? Like, let's say the average person, like, driving to work and sometimes, like, traveling a few states over, like, every summer or something.
Well, okay, hold on. Average commute. I don't want time. Working miles.
Let's say 1 million miles.
16. What? I was gonna say, so 25,000 miles is the circumference of the Earth, and the average American drives 16 miles to work each way, so 32 miles a day on average. So let's see. I didn't think about how much math would be involved in this, and so
32 times 8,000.
What?
I don't know. I just picked a random number that seemed like more than a few years.
Okay,
That
so
didn't work.
if
Why didn't that work?
if we actually, okay, I do kind of like them. So I did 80 years every day, 32 miles to work. That's just under 1 million miles. But like, I don't know, is that I like an even 1 million miles. What do you guys think?
I'm okay with 1 million. Let's roll with that.
Because that then, so 1, 2, how many zeros are in 1 million? Pop quiz.
More than one, more than two.
Correct.
More than three.
So that gives you 34 and a quarter miles that you can travel like every day. Basically, if we're equating it to an 80-year lifespan.
What was the number?
34 and a quarter. But like 1 million miles is how many you have, and if you like an equivalent to an 80-year lifespan, that's 34 and a quarter miles every day. So the question that the number one thing that I'm thinking of is working from home. Absolutely is the only thing that needs to happen now. Like, screw going to the you'd have to be paid so much more money to go to an office.
Yeah.
So, do you also age at a normal rate, or is your age relative to how many miles you've traveled? Because if you're raising a baby and you want to raise them to be a child quickly, do you just have to drive a bunch and sacrifice those years of your life? What if there's what if there's like a child bus system and you just put these children on a bus and the bus driver so that only one person is aging as they grow these kids?
You know, like
what?
you know that you're gonna
Yes,
have
I
to be
absolutely
moving
love this.
soon, so you want some extra set of hands. You're like, well, instead of carrying the baby around, let's get the baby to help us carry. So you just like put him on a swing for a few hours and age him up.
Oh no! Yeah, you don't need a bus. You just put him on a swing.
You just put him on a merry-go-round and just spin it.
Yeah, because ideally you need something that will not like be moving you, but is moving them. So you just put them in like a you know those what they like train astronauts in. Maybe it doesn't have to go like Mach 7 or whatever, but you put them in one of those the like gyroscopes that just spins.
Yeah. Well, the center of mass doesn't move too much.
Yeah.
In that, so maybe not
and
that,
dude,
but something similar.
You know
We
who
haven't
this
brought
really
that up
sucks
yet.
for? Is the flying industry.
Well,
Pilots
yeah.
pilots and like stewards and stewardesses are screwed.
But they get
I
paid
think
the
flight
big
attendants
bucks.
is the word. Yeah.
Well, but the flying industry as a whole would be so much smaller that I don't even think stewardesses would be a thing.
The travel industry in general would be so like
tourism. I'm sorry, you want me to kill myself to visit somewhere else? No, because also thinking about so if we're going with proportional aging, you're probably losing your ability to do stuff as you travel.
I mean, it depends what age you do it in, because
Yeah.
you said
Well,
25,000.
I'm sorry,
is the
I don't
circumference
understand.
of
What
the
do you
Earth.
mean age?
Um,
What do you mean what age you do it in?
you'll distance as you travel.
All right. Okay. So
So, like you said, 25,000 for the circumference of the Earth. Let's say you went to the exact opposite point of the Earth, and then came back. You just used like a 40th of your lifespan, or 2 years, since we're kind of marking with 80 years. So, even going all the way around the Earth, you've only used 2 years of your life.
you need to go 375,000 miles to be 30
Dude,
years old.
you know what this will really affect is the cinema industry. You know, people aren't going to be able to like travel to movies all the time. They're going to have to rent it from home. So you know what will happen is Blockbuster will
Blockbuster's coming back.
Hype.
Everyone was waiting for it, but they knew it was coming. So we haven't mentioned this, but we decided beforehand the way it the way like displacement works is like center of mass. So we're just gonna say like basic. It's probably not your center of mass, but your belly button. It's the distance your belly button has traveled from point A to point B, and so there's gonna be a new I think a big part of the world now is learning to move without your belly button shifting positions. Like, for example, if you need to reach for something, you need to find a way to reach that without letting your belly button move.
All those people that try to flex that they can like pick up things with their toes like actually became cool.
Yeah. Also, belly dancing, no longer a thing. The most dangerous form of dancing.
It might just become more scandalous then, because you know it's just like
Dude.
very unhealthy for you.
My superhero is screwed. You know how many miles my superhero runs a day to train for
doesn't have to.
marathons?
Well, he wants to like.
Well, yeah, that's another thing.
And
Marathons are the stupid thing to do. Why would you do a marathon?
You just used up a 40,000th of your life.
Honestly, working out in general, what workouts can you do without moving your belly button? So you could
I don't know.
do,
You're
could
kind
do
of stuck on the
leg-
belly button thing, but I feel like center of mass just makes more sense. you can't move.
Are you
without
trying
moving
to
your
tell me the
mass.
center of mass of me is not my belly button?
I'm trying to tell you it changes. It's like as you use.
I refuse to believe that.
You're right.
I don't know. It's an easy thing to define. All right, sports. Is it still happening? Because you can't just cut off all activities in life by saying it's like, oh, it's too you can't move.
I don't. Do
like-
you think athletes make even more money now just for like the health risk
Oh,
they take
because
it on?
yeah. That's a good point.
Like-
Well, but then also like away games and stuff. It's like assuming you kept national or even international teams.
The world unites, and we just have Sports City, where all athletes move to compete.
You start using
that's
like
a mo-
sports
that's a
into
movie idea
becoming
if I've
like
ever
things
heard of.
with slingshots instead of or like zip line sports and stuff like that. Where you like move things via zip lines instead of like sports that you actually move a lot.
FIFA is
Yep.
the new sport.
Yeah, or just like javelin throwing, like that's the and discus throwing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah. So travel industries, I'd say basically gone.
I don't know. I think I would still travel.
Yeah, I a million miles is a lot. I guess.
Yeah, like
you could go.
I don't
around
have to
Earth
live
40 times.
80. I don't have to live 80 years.
Yeah, but think about, so you on your, let's just say you're circumnavigating the globe 40 times since you were born because for whatever reason. Like by the like 30th circumnavigation, you are now like 50 or 60 or something. I guess 60. And so it's going to become a lot, like, as you travel, I imagine it would become less enjoyable because your knees will start, like, giving out. And you're going to get old.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, you still have to, like, keep yourself with because there are people who are 80 who aren't, like, disabled. You know?
Still mobile.
We're not against octogenarians here, but
Is that a word?
yeah, it's someone between the years of 80 to 89.
Octogenarian. Next week's
That's what I said.
bombastic word, septuagenarian.
That's someone between the years of 70 and 79. Non-agenarians.
Is that what that meant? I didn't figure that out.
On today's We Bombastic Few Latin prefixes, today we're going with 7, 8, and 9. Tune in next week.
Bear years old.
What?
Ursagenarian. Bear years old.
Okay. Anyway,
It doesn't work, Brent. You can't just throw any Latin prefix in front of
is
genarian.
Ursa a prefix though? Because like if it like bear in English is not a prefix.
Bear hug.
Interesting point you make.
Bam.
Ah.
Bear like qualities.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever heard of Little Red Riding Hood
Yeah. Keep going.
and
You're doing great.
the Big Bad Bear?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Blockbuster's back, and we've talked about sports. Does anyone else have any final ideas?
Not really.
I think we've covered the important points. We've hit the two important marks. under the
Necessities.
Hypothetical. Yeah. What
Yeah.
happens to Blockbuster and what happens to sports?
And of course, being genticular and all, I would also obtain breakfast. I think I've hit 3 now. I'm gonna stop. Next time we're picking a word that you can actually use in a sentence.
Our word is never a word you can use.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be true to the podcast.
A chair can dream, Harold. Okay. And with that, a word from our sponsors.
All right. Today's sponsor of this episode is the company is called. I lost my train of thought. Okay, hold on.
Boop. Take
Today's
2.
sponsored segment is brought to you by Lawnwards and Upwards. Now, have you ever been in the situation where you're just trying to like make your yard and look as pristine as possible, but like the weeds keep coming back, you have pests in your garden, and you just don't know how to get rid of them. You've tried everything. Well, a groundbreaking new study has led to a collaboration between Lawnwards and Upwards and Celine Dion, and they're now bringing you the My Heart Will Go Lawn line of products. Now, the idea behind this study is plants are living things. And as we know from living creatures, an important part of raising up the young is to like help them to grow as much as possible so they can make it on their own and
Like an
eventually,
investment.
leave the nest. Yeah. You put your time in, you nurture them, and then they go off on their own. And that can be seen across any number of animals. Now, what we decided to do is create a line of products to help you nurture these pests and these weeds in your yard so that eventually they will leave and go to someone else's yard or maybe off out into the wild on their own.
Where can I buy such a product?
Home Depot.
Okay.
And
Lowe's.
don't we have a promotional code?
Yes, we do. Use the promotional code We Bombastic Few for 20% off. This code does not work with your local drug dealer.
Yeah, that one fell through. Unfortunately, legal issues.
We
so
couldn't
forth.
officially get
The
a code
fine
to
print.
work out. Yeah. There's too
Yeah,
much
so-
competition in the market. We couldn't really get like a widespread. We didn't want to show favoritism to any one drug dealer.
Onwards and upwards really helped me out. I had personally, I had some problems with some termites. They were just feeling down. They didn't have really any ambition or anything. I was able to use Onward and Upwards and their product line, and now they have a good 9-to-5 job. They've moved on bigger and better things. So really just a great product. Go ahead and use the code WeBombasticFew. Get your 10% off. And thank you to Lawnwards and Upwards for sponsoring this episode.
And Celine Dion.
Yeah, Celine Dion.
And Celine Dion. I forgot that we got that exclusive deal with her.
We're shouting out a lot of celebrities.
Yeah.
Today.
Shout out to Brent's mom as well.
Today.
Shout out
The
to
most
Brent's
celebrity.
The biggest celebrity.
The biggest celebrity
Yes.
of this podcast.
Everyone who listens to this podcast loves and adores Brent's mom.
And they should.
And they should.
All right, and now you've all been waiting for it. A new segment. It's called The Pitch. So the idea of this segment is normally we're going to do something along the lines of one of us is going to have an idea and try and pitch it to the others. But the idea for this episode, we've actually all already discussed, and it was too good to pass up on. So we, the podcast hosts, are going to pitch it to you, the audience. And we want you to send a letter to your local congressman if you agree that we need this in our lives. Daniel, what do we need in our lives?
Wait, what?
All right.
Congressman. I don't know.
All right. I thought it was a softball, but Lindsay.
We need education.
And how are we going to get it?
Game show.
And what is this game show called?
Who wants to be a college graduate?
That was
So.
a softball. I'm a fool.
Anyway, so the idea is you've all seen Who's Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, right? That's not that. That's making fun of adults for being idiots and getting special ed fifth graders to make them feel like idiots. This is Who Wants to Be a College Graduate, where if you win this game show,
I don't
you
think
receive
special ed is the word you were looking for there.
That's a good point. Advanced education. I'll put that. I'd like to redact that. I'm
Educational
not actually gonna edit this episode. Yeah, I'm gonna. Accelerated programmed fifth graders. I kind of want to go back and redact that, but I'm not going to because that's too much work. And don't worry, it'll just be taken out of context and put on TikTok. Anyway. So the idea is, so you go onto the show and you get to pick which degree you want to go for. And there's a series of questions that fit within a half-hour TV block that at the end, if you win, you receive a college degree.
Wow, that sounds great.
Yeah, so
Good discussion.
What did we decide on? Did we decide on like you touch on every subject in one sitting, or you have to come back for next week to visit another subject?
I think we fit the entire 4-year degree of college into a 30-minute TV block,
Yes.
This reminds me
which is actually like
of-
23 minutes minus ads.
This reminds me of an old movie. What is it called? Back to School with it's a Rodney Dangerfield movie. And there's basically, businessman goes to school and he's like paying a bunch of people to like do all his work for him, and like one of the professors like gets him for it, and he ends up having to like take like a comprehensive exam of all of his classes alone in front of a panel of all of his professors to like pass the semester. And
Yeah, but this will be in front of an audience.
yeah, this will be in front of an audience. Popularity is huge here. You want the crowd to be with you.
Do they get lifelines?
I was going to ask the same thing.
I think so.
What did Plato mean in this passage? Would you like to take a poll from the audience?
No, so what if we have a new kick to it? We like they get lifelines, a handful of them, but they're only allowed to call other subject professors. Like they're not allowed to call the professor of the relevant subject. So like you got a problem with Calc 3, you got to call an English professor or something like that.
You trying to say that English professors don't know any calculus?
I'm just saying it.
Very rude.
Maybe.
Very presumptuous of you, Mr. Elitist.
Very gentacular of you.
No, you did not let any of mine slide. That did not fit at all.
Well, it was very pertaining to breakfast.
As he scrolls up to find the definition of gentacular.
Yeah, how would this work? Is it formatted like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, or is it formatted like Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
The last time I watched Who's Smarter Than a Fifth Grader had to have been at least a decade and a half ago.
It's been a long time for me,
I don't actually know how it
too.
operates.
I
I think you write down something, and like sometimes you can cheat from the other people. That's when like the lifelines. There are a bunch of children on stage.
So, what degree programs offer this? Is it, dude? You know what this might be good for is like if you're getting into college and they're trying to figure out like what classes you're allowed to take. You have to do like your AP credits and your dual, whatever it's called, dual credit, dual enrollment. Like none of those matters. You have to participate in Who Wants to Be a College Graduate to figure out your placement.
I like it. Who do you think? What companies do you think would sponsor this show?
Lawnwards and Upwards.
Honestly, yeah, it's a decent fit. Celine Dion for another one. She would individually sponsor this show.
Celine Dion is a big philanthropist. She's very into this sort of thing.
Very big into education.
Yeah, it's something deeply important to her. Celine Dion, if you're listening, I hope you agree. So you don't get to call us out.
Or
I don't
donate.
know why, but for some reason I think of the 3 celebrities we've mentioned so far, Celine Dion is the most likely to be listening.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
I don't know. She just like, I mean, it's obvious, right?
Yeah, totally.
I'll tell you in one word: genticular.
So you're telling
the way
me
you're
LeBron
pronouncing
James
the
isn't
way you're
genticular enough for
pronouncing-
you?
The way you're pronouncing gentacular as genticular just makes it sound like it's more related to genitals than breakfast.
Well, that's disgusting. Why would you take the audience there? This is a PG program, maybe even G-rated.
Maybe.
Y7.
Why
Early childhood.
As we talk about trying to get drug dealer sponsorships.
But it fell through, so it's fine.
It fell through, so it doesn't matter.
We advised against it.
Anyway,
What were we
Who Wants to Be a
talking
College
about?
Graduate is a great idea. Write to your local congressman, because the congressmen are the people in this country who decides what game shows there are on television. So tell them that We Bombastic Few sent you to get 10% off. I don't know. All right,
Yep.
Daniel, wrap us up.
Yeah. So, thank you for listening, everybody. like, comment, subscribe, follow, the whole deal, whatever, or don't. If you don't like our stuff, don't do that.
If they don't like our stuff, would they be at this part of the podcast?
I'm
maybe.
impressed with your commitment.
Maybe
random listener that hates what we're doing but is still here at the 55-minute mark.
What? If you hate our content and you've listened this far, we really appreciate. You know what? I almost appreciate them as much as I appreciate like the people who love our stuff. 'Cause that takes commitment. I respect that. They're like, you know what? I'm gonna listen to the end, see this through, just to know that I really hate this.
Exactly. They're an open-minded individual. They thought at 53 minutes, they're like, listen, I didn't like it up until this point, but maybe, just maybe, at the end,
if they show me some respect, maybe I'll drop a like. So
exactly.
Random hater, here is your respect.
Shout out to you, random hater.
Shout out to you. Appreciate you boosting our listen percentage stats. Any final thoughts? Brent? Lindsay?
Well, it was great to talk to you guys again. Sorry about all the many month hiatuses. You'd think that, obviously, I think these other people have jobs. I'm in graduate school, working very hard. It's very hard to find time in my 3-class schedule for recording. So you have to understand, I'm booked full. Can't fit a podcast in. But it's good. It's always nice to talk to you listeners that never respond. And I'm only fairly certain that you're actually real listeners and not bots. But
you know what? Bot listen still gets us ad revenue.
Exactly. All 3 cents of it that we're then losing because we paid 15 cents per listen. Anyway, all right.
Did we talk about that in episode, or is that what we were getting ready to record?
That was in episode, I think.
Lindsay?
It's all a blur.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I don't remember. For context, I don't know. If it's not in the episode, Brent will post
I'm pretty sure it was
a
an
blooper
episode.
reel. But Brent will post a blooper reel if it's not an episode. We
This
have
is
recordings
untrue,
of all
but
this
continue.
conversation. Or maybe we don't. I don't even know. Lindsay, final thoughts?
That would require me to think. I do not do that.
That's not my contract.
I've got my mind on more gentacular things.
He's
Okay.
already.
I think we have a record, not for the most correct uses of a bombastic word, but the most mentions of the bombastic word.
This probably even beats the Flocks and Knocks into Hillipification episode.
And that
Why
even
do I
made it into
remember
the
that?
title.
How did I remember that word? But we tried using it a lot.
We did. Do you remember the definition? Is our vocabulary lessons working?
Flocks and Knocks into Hillipification is not something I remember. The definition.
To evaluate as useless.
That's
So,
so right. I was just about to say that. I remembered right before you said it, but you said it before me. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Next episode coming out, question mark? And imagine a YouTube thumbnail that's really clickbaity.
Yo, do you want me to start making clickbaity thumbnails for the podcast? I love making clickbait thumbnails.
I mean, you can. I'm not gonna do it. I'll put the thumbnails on there. I don't really. I guess some podcasts have thumbnails that are not just pictures of the.
I've been listening
the
to
background.
a podcast called The
Is this
Yard.
something that we should be putting in the podcast, or should we end it?
It's in the. Whoever's listening this far will still listen to us, so I'm fine with it. Except the hater. Maybe not the hater. Dude, I've been listening to The Yard.
He made it this far, but.
And do you guys know who Ludwig is?
Hold on, why are we giving free shout-outs to other podcasts?
Shout-outs to The Yard podcast.
No.
They're dope. They're funny.
I'm not cutting out the special ed thing, but I'm cutting out the shout-out to a random podcast.
Nah. No, you guys should check it out. But also keep checking us out. So there. Does that satisfy you, Brent? Is that good enough? Final thoughts. Shout out to Brent's mom again.
Shout out to
Since no one else wanted to shout out Brent's mom in the conclusion.
We already did.
We already did that.
Oh wait, we did it in episode, but you know,
This is still an
I
episode.
did it.
Double shout-outs,
I
never
did it
hurt
in the
anyone.
conclusion. So, props to me.
Indeed.
Yeah, that was fun. same time next week. I'm sorry. I sent that
All right,
message after the conclusion of season 2. I said same time next week, and then that was just the last message in our Discord channel until today.
For 5 months.
For 5 months.
And with that, we'll see you at an undetermined time.
Have a bombastic week, everybody.